We are live. What's up, everybody? We're gonna do a little something different tonight. So everybody knows you are watching. We are live, and I want to try to do some late night programming. And I'm trying to do it where, listen, not everybody wants to see my face. Not I. Sometimes I don't even want to see my face. Right? I just want to lay back, just like I'm on the radio. And that's kind of what I'm getting at. That's kind of what I want to do right here. So I want to kind of treat this just like a radio station, right? So we're live, we're streaming, we're taking comments, right? I'm taking whatever you're going by this and you hear. So here's the thing, all you need to do is comment and we could talk to each other, just like you would call into a radio station. And I wanted to do this because I think this is going to be, the kind of workaround that I'm trying. So, I don't have to go, internet radio station, internet, and again, I may do all of that. I'm not sure, but this is live. Just so you know, and I'm curious. I want to see what kind of viewership that we get. I may flop the screen back and forth, with the camera off the screen, but we're talking right now. Listen, you know, we watched the Philadelphia 76ers just completely dominate the best team in the NBA, right? Completely dominate the best team in the NBA. And this was an absolute statement game for Joel Embiid. And I think that we can all say that Joel Embiid has definitely grown a lot this year. And I don't know if that was expected, right? I don't know if that was expected. I know it wasn't expected from me. And we talk about this a lot. And there you go. We're talking about Joel Embiid dominance. You know, to think that this guy can continue to get even better than he already was is mind-boggling to me. And I say this before, and I said it again. We're basically watching, the best big man, in the history of the NBA when it comes to names like Wilt Chamberlain, when it comes to names like Shaquille O'Neal. Which listen, say what you want, but Shaq was absolutely dominant. And when we look at that and we think about it, we say, you know what? Here's the thing. Not only does he have, I said this before and I'll say it again, not only does he have the strength of Shaquille O'Neal, but he has the mobility of a Tim Duncan to be able to create his own shot all over the court. And I think that's what the most important thing is about Joel Embiid. And and this year, the best part about him, he's having fun, man. Like, Allah alluded to it tonight where he said, look at him out there, look at him on the court. He is absolutely having fun. And, not only do you have fun when you're playing well, not only do you have fun when you're winning, but you have fun when you're getting results and you're seeing results. And he has the confidence of his teammates and the confidence. Let's be honest. The new system employed by Nick Nurse. Where we, what did we expect from a Nick Nurse? What did we expect? Did we fully expect this to click on all cylinders? And if you're watching right now, yes, you are here. If you're watching right now, okay, you want to throw those comments off. You're watching on the X, you're watching on Twitter, go to the Heat Ratio Sports YouTube page. Okay. Go on there, start commenting, get the comments going, get the engagement going. I want to treat this as the new wave of where you don't have to just see me with my hand motions and my backgrounds. And I'm going to treat this like, look, I just pulled up into the studio. I am in a studio right now. I've built a studio, in my house where I do the live broadcast from. So instead of doing the whole radio station, so to speak, listen, all you need to do is pop on YouTube right now and put the headphones on. Nobody wants to watch me anyway. And you can comment, you can engage. If you're on Facebook right now, everybody can hear. right? Everybody can hear. So, again, if you're up and you want to talk 76ers, I'm in for it. And we're talking about Joel Embiid right now. And listen, you saw the graphics, right? You saw the graphics of the company that he's in. And I really like, what uh the coach said tonight. I think that it was, Jim Lynam, the great, one of the greats, right? I really like what he said when he was asked, like, by Mark Jackson or Michael Barkan. And he was like, where does Joel rank up above, these guys on this list? And they're sitting up there and they're talking about, these guys on the list of ultimate big men, right? He's talking about 30 points in 13 straight games. The last four occurrences by a center was Wilt Chamberlain had 20 of them from 63 to 64. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar had 16 in the 71-72 season. Moses Malone, we know Moses very well, right? 13 games, 81-82 season. And now you have Joel Embiid in a 23-24 season with 13. And it just started, right? It just started. And that's the crazy, crazy, crazy thing. 30 points in 13 straight games. I'm telling you, it's almost like if you're a betting man, it is a lock. I know, a lot of people are hammering it, that I'm not going to say his name, but the guy on Twitter or the guy on X, whatever you want to call it, that talked about maybe him going on the under, right? Going on the under and him, because he's going up against Carl Anthony Towns. He was going up against a 20-5 Minnesota Timberwolves. And I think that was the added, that was the added energy. That was the added ammunition, so to speak, that Joel Embiid needed. And that's the crazy part, right? When you think about it, like I said, this guy, this guy is just getting better. This guy is just getting better. Again, this Tony Cutillo, heat ratio sports. I don't know what this is going to be called yet, right? I'm leaning towards testing the limits with Tony. One a morning and a night version. I do like the final judgment that I am going to bring back. That I think that's going to talk about different things, but a lot of people have told me many, many times, you do talk a lot and you have a lot to say. And I just didn't want to pigeonhole myself in specific things. And what I'm going to do on this program is I'm going to bring other people on, and not just from a sports perspective, but I want to highlight different things. I want to highlight people in nonprofit areas. I want to highlight people in, whether they're authors. I do a lot of PR and I work with a lot of fabulous people, and I'd love to showcase them as well and talk about specific topics in the media that people want to talk about. And I think that it's important. I really do, and I think that it's something that we can build on. And even if you just want to, you want to talk music, you want to, I'm up for anything. You just throw in the comments. If you want to be live on the show, all you need is a microphone. All you need is a microphone. I could send you the link to hop on the show. And again, you can talk as much as you want. That's the best part. You don't need a camera. You don't need a microphone. You just need a phone. You just need a phone. That's it. I can give you the link and you can hop on just like you would do the radio. So I want to try to do something a little different. I don't know if this is the right format or not, but hey, everybody starts somewhere, and this is who I am. I work all day. Whether it's getting coverage for my clients, whether it's creating content, whether it's doing interviews for the Win Daily Ambassador Program. Shout out as always, Win Daily Sports, windailysports.com. Something that is dear to me as well. Another company that I'm with and I work with on a daily basis. Doing some really, really good things in the world of sports betting and fantasy sports, which is great. But it's like this is my downtime. And instead of sitting there scrolling on my phone and commenting, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna grab the microphone and I'm gonna talk. And that's where we're at, because I grew up on a, and a segue right to this, if you haven't noticed already, I am one of, not the only one, but one of the hosts of the Blue Coats Beat that is powered by Heat Ratio Sports that you can see on the Delaware Blue Coats YouTube page, as well as the Heat Ratio Sports YouTube page, as well as all the major podcasting outlets. We just had a fantastic interview with the great mayor of basketball, and that is none other than Sonny Hill. And you see it right here. This was the interview series that we had with Sonny Hill, me and Coach Joe Richmond. That's live right now, and we saw that and we watched that, and we recorded that, and to hear, and again, I'm going to go back and forth here. You can see some video, you may see some pictures, but to hear the stories of not only modern day basketball but the historic area of basketball was a breath of fresh air. Sonny continued to say latest and greatest, right? And he said it all the time, and it resonated so well with me because that is the problem with the youth today. The problem is everybody is, and again, I love Steph Curry, right? I love Stephen Curry, one of the goats. But everybody, let's think about where Steph Curry resonated from, right? The history, before there was even a 3-point perimeter, right? Before there was even a 3-point shot in the game. Let's remember about that, right? Before there was even a 3-point shot in the game. And then going back and finding out about how about looking at the historic 3-point shot takers of all time. Our youth does not do that. They don't do that. And listen, it's nothing against our youth. It's not. It's that we don't force it on them enough. We don't. Like I'm very, very, very meticulous with the way I raise my children and the way I coach my kids. And I try to drill into them all the time, the past history of the game in any sport that we play. In any sport that we play. And I say that wholeheartedly because it's so important. I was in awe by listening to Mr. Sonny Hill on some of the stories from diversity, from racial barriers, from broadcasting, from the game, from the way he treated his players, from the way they revered and respected him, on all different facets of life, and the way he stayed invested. Not only, he said, "Look, I'm not creating basketball players. I'm creating men." Right? I'm creating young men, and I loved every minute of that because that's exactly what he was doing, right? That's what he was doing. His goal was to make sure that these men and these kids grew up into men, and they had the right state of mind to deal with the adversity that he was dealing with, right? And it all brings us back to what we're doing right now, and that's why we're talking about Joel Embiid. Because listen, for one, I'm going to be honest with you. I was again, I questioned it. I still have some questions, right? Still have some questions about, can he hold up, right? Can he hold up? And I say that because we just at this point we just don't know. But what he's doing is he's showing us that he's recommitted, right? He's showing us that he's recommitted. And I think that's one of the most important things. And I think that when you have that recommitment, right? When you have that recommitment, I think that's one of the most important things. That really is. That's one of the most important things that you can ever be is recommitted. I'm serious. I mean that you heard Jalen Hurts, and we're going to get back to that in a minute. And again, if you're watching this on Twitter, if you're watching this or on X, so to speak, I just say, hey, listen, get over to the YouTube page, okay, and make sure that you get on there, and you can comment. I'm gonna right now, I'm gonna throw this up there. on X on my own personal profile so everybody sees, right? Join me right now, man. Like this is what we want, right? We want everybody to get involved. I want to hear, your late night comments. I do. I want to hear your late night comments. I want to hear, what you're thinking, what you're thinking. And, because there's a lot for us to talk about. There's a lot for us to dive into. Pretty soon we're going to start, we have to talk about, what's going on with the Philadelphia Eagles. And I don't want to keep rehashing the same things over and over again, but I want to hear the opinions. I want to hear what you think. I want to hear, you know, your statements and your vision about and your theories about, what's going on. I don't want to listen. I'm not doing that dumb Wentz watch stuff and things of that nature. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about like what happened. I'm just curious to see what happened, from a perspective of, from last year to now. Like seriously, what happened? My man willing to go ham, Starship Pain on Twitter. Been going back and forth with him for years. I love it. Sending me voice messages in my inbox, somebody I can actually have a conversation with that we're sharing theories with, and we're going back and forth, and we're saying to ourselves, at the end of the day, we're saying what's happening, right? What do we see? Not what we're speculating on, so to speak, in order to gain clicks, in order to gain a perspective from an audience that really doesn't want to follow and just wants to rip people down. But we're trying to find out, what happened to the beloved team that we had. What happened to them? And again, if you're listening live right now on X, on Twitter, click on that link I just posted. Click on that link I just posted and hop into the YouTube page. Throw some comments in. Let's talk about it. My man Al checking in. The 2-minute warning. Make sure you follow Al. Al is one of the most opinionated people right now that I know, right? Part of the Heat Ratio Sports family. Dropping TikToks, Instagram stories, post games, pre games. Al, man, I'm glad you're checking in. We're talking about this is your topic, Al, and it's late night. I'm doing something a little different, right? We're treating this like kind of like a radio station, a live streaming radio station where we're streaming and we don't need to throw video up. Or I don't need to show my ugly mug. We just want to talk. We're talking about the dominance of Joel Embiid right now, and the growth of Tyrese Maxey, and is it enough? Is it enough to get us over the hump? And just seeing, I said this to my son tonight. We were talking about the game, and I said the best thing I feel about the 76ers right now, the best thing I feel about the 76ers right now is they're not a stagnant team anymore. Right? They're not a stagnant team anymore. And that's what's been great about it. Like, they're moving the ball. They have offensive rhythm. And that's the most important thing to me. They have the offensive rhythm. And with that offensive rhythm is something that we haven't witnessed over the course of the last several years. We've been dying for this kind of swing with the ball. We've been dying for the isolation that we're starting to see. Nobody standing in one place. Nobody looks lost, right? This team is a cohesive unit that is really, really formed, a hell, of a dynamic that we haven't seen in a long time. And this is one of those years where it could be weird, right? I mean, listen, for all intents and purposes, tonight, you went up against a 20-5 Minnesota Timberwolves team that was essentially leading the NBA, right? I understand Golden State's starting to get hot again, and looks like Clay may have found his stroke. And how interesting is that, right? How interesting is that? That possibly, we talk about people on the Philadelphia Eagles, and we talk about people saying that there's a lot of cancer on the team, and here you go about Draymond Green finally going away and for a little while, and now all of a sudden Clay gets his magic back, right? And now that that Golden State team's rolling, so we'll see what happens. But I do think that this is a really good year for the Philadelphia 76ers to catch a little fire. Al says, I love what JoJo and Maxey brings, but we need more balance and to stay healthy. I agree. You had 3 people out tonight, right? You had no Nicholas Batum, you had no Robert Covington, right? You had two guys that pretty important pieces, man. Pretty important pieces. Obviously pretty important pieces. And I think that's important. I think that's important. It's important that we have a deep bench. Look, no disrespect to Furkan Korkmaz, but he kind of tonight is kind of where he belongs, right? Look, he's one of the last guys off the bench. He's like mop up duty, yeah. We were relying on him. Listen, remember there was times where we had Furkan in our starting lineup. Think about that. Furkan was in our starting lineup. So you have to look at that and see how far we've come. And listen, I said this before, and I'll continue to say it. I am learning. Okay, I learn every day, and I'm trying to find my niche, right? And as much as I like to be up front in people's face and yell and get a hype anymore, man, I'm learning at my age. It's wasted energy. It's wasted energy, man. I just want to have a conversation, and I want to see what we can make as far as a competitive team going forward instead of just ripping people down all the time. Yeah, we get frustrated because we're passionate, right? Most passionate fan base in America, and everybody's frustrated. But you know, the people that that are really, really out of their minds are the people that are going to say, JoJo stinks, and like it's okay to be frustrated at Joel Embiid for possibly never being healthy in a playoff series, or maybe not performing to the measures that we expect him to be and lead a team in the playoffs. That's okay, but to completely bash people and rip people down, I mean, it's just ridiculous. Al says, I want us to stay healthy for 15 to 20 straight games, and it will tell us a lot about this team. Let me ask you this, Al. I know Al's listening right now. And Al, listen, feel free. If you want to jump on, we don't need, I'm doing this different, Al. I'm doing this different. I'm not doing video. We just live streaming. So, I'll send you the link. You don't need a camera. You could just go on your phone. It's okay. I mean, we're going to treat this just like a radio station. I'm trying a little something new. So you let me know. I'll flip the link up there. You can hop in, and I'll put your microphone live or your phone live, whatever you have, and treat it just like you called in the WIP, man. That's what we're gonna do. So you let me know, because I'm curious to know, where you feel this team is. You watch all the games, man. You break them all down. That's why I love you being a part of HRS, and I know I'm a little I'm impatient, right? You laugh at me, but I'm the impatient. I'm trying to be more patient now. I am. I'm trying to be more patient, and I'm trying to figure out. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and yeah, I'm gonna send that right now, Al. I'm gonna DM it to you. Okay, I'm gonna DM it to you. And if anybody's listening right now, if you're on X right now, if you want to be DM'd and you want to get on the show, just like instead of picking up a phone and dialing a number, instead of picking up a phone and dialing a number, guess what? All you need to do is click on this link. That's it. And like right now, I'm gonna send this. You don't need, again. You could do it on your phone. You could do it on your phone. It's that simple. It's that simple. Here you go, Al. I just sent you the link. Al's on there. You could pop on. And again, anybody wants to get on the program, I'd love to have you. You want to break down this game? If you're on Facebook, if you want to comment right now, throw it in there. We'll get it up. If you want to join the program live, like I said, I'm trying to change the game a little bit here, man. I'm trying to have some fun. Go ahead and I will post a link. Actually, I'm going to post a link on Facebook right now. I'm going to go on a Facebook page, and I apologize if I echo for a second, but I am going to post this right now. You're going to see this if you're watching. I just posted it. Okay. So there is a link right now in Facebook. All you need to do is click on that. I'm going to go I'm on the YouTube page right now, and I'm going to post it in the YouTube page. And once I do that, you will be into the program. Let's see. We're trying something a little different here, man. Trying to do stuff a little different. I'm trying to revolutionize and get everybody with us, man. Like it's going to be fun. And there you are on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube right now, okay. If you're watching on YouTube, I just posted it in the link. Okay, I just posted it in the link, man. Like it's going to be, this is going to be something fun. It's going to be something fun. And right now with everything that we have going on in the sports world in Philadelphia. It's gonna be it's gonna be something good. My man Al checking in. Al, can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Oh, there we go. Look, we trying to change the game, Al. Look at this. This is like who needs video, right? Like who needs video? I'm like, it's funny. I was sitting there the other day and I'm just like, you know, I want to start. I want to do late night stuff, but it's like maybe I want to be in my pajamas. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to. So we talk. So Al, man, listen. Like I tell you, I respect the hell out of your knowledge and what you do from a basketball perspective. And you got to tell me, man, am I okay? Are we okay to buy back in?
Yeah, we're okay right now. Like I was saying, the injuries I'm worrying about, because I could probably say I got to get a number. If I was prepared, I would have had the number.
Ah,
But I don't think we've been together as a team for that many games. That's the problem. I'm talking about Batum in the starting lineup, and Kelly coming off the bench, and everybody, the way you can set your rotation up and have a flow. We haven't been. I probably would say maybe 8 games that has happened all season. So that's not good. So we need to find that, and that's why I need to see 15 to 20 games in a row, rotation. Everybody know how long they're going to be out there, how many minutes they're going to get a night. The passing, the plays, the defense. I want to see that, and that will tell me a lot. And then that will tell me whether you don't touch this team at the trade deadline, or you're going to tinker a little bit. But you got to be careful because the chemistry is very good right now.
it's very good. It's very good. I mean, and it's one of those things where, was it a doc thing? Was it a team thing? Like in your perspective, because I look at a completely different offense. I look at guys moving around. I look at, Joe's not dribbling up and just standing there with the ball, waiting for that run and who's going to come around and get the reach around behind them. I'm
Right.
seeing guys moving consistently. I mean, is this just what we a Nick Nurse style of offense finally?
Yeah, this is a lot of Nick Nurse. It's the offense, it's the movement, it's the spots, it's the where I want you to be. It's defense. I'm seeing I tweeted about it the other day that their defense is so different from last year. Like the rotations, the talking, the little stuff that you got to do to win. They're doing it. I see everybody talking. Yo, you go up there. No, you come back. I didn't see that last year. Like it's totally different. Everybody know where they're supposed to be, and that's why it flows the way it flows. And Batum is a big part of that. You see the entry, how bad were with entry passes last year. He does it like
Yep.
it's nothing. Like he gets the ball to be perfectly every time. So it's the little things that are making us good right now, and I just can't wait till I want to see this flow. The problem is Batum is out now. He's got a hamstring. That could be a problem. That could be a lingering problem with his age if we don't take care of that now. And I think Cove has just had a sickness. I think he'd be all right. But uh, Melton, which is a huge part too, with defense and shooting. he had a knee contusion, so he might be out a couple games. So that's the problem. So if you can't get your rotations down and get a flow, now you got to bring extra people in. People got to play more minutes, and which you don't want to do. And you can't have. I didn't look at the minutes of Embiid and Maxey tonight, but you got to watch. You can't be running them into the hole either.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. That's a really good point. I mean, because we've seen that, right? We've
Right,
seen that in the past.
right.
And that's the last thing. We want these guys fresh. But I don't know, man. Like I want
It's
to buy
different.
in.
It is different. It's different.
It is.
And I want people to back them.
Yeah.
I was down there the other night, the Detroit game. Uh, just went down there and have a little fun, but it was packed for a Detroit game. I was shocked. I was like, "It's Detroit," and the place is
Tanking. He's
packed.
tanking, man. Like
Yeah,
it's crazy,
I
man.
couldn't believe how many people was down there for a Detroit game. So the people are supporting. When we win, and everybody going to come anyway. But
Yep.
so if the people need to support this team because they're playing excellent ball right now. Yeah, I know we lost against Chicago, but we're not going to win every game. But look our record. We're still fourth in that whole NBA in record wise, and we lost that game the other night. So that tell you everything you need to know. And by the way, like you said, we beat record wise, that was the best team in the NBA before they lost that game. Now they're tied with Boston, but they had the best record.
Exactly.
And they were
It-
healthy, by the
yep.
way. They were
Yeah,
totally
I was
healthy
just to
tonight.
say. Yeah, I mean, listen, they had all their studs out there.
Right.
Right. Yeah, I mean, we can't, and listen, and Anthony Edwards is playing out of his mind.
Is he?
Uh,
Oh my goodness.
I mean, that kid, oof, man, I'm telling you, man. It's such a
They got a lot of weapons.
they do. They do.
They got a lot of
Hey,
weapons.
where their I'm gonna sound like an idiot here, but where'd their coach come from?
You know what? I remember him, but I can't remember where he came from. I do remember him for a while. He's been around for a while, but I can't remember where he came from.
Yeah, I didn't know if he came from like college or he was
No, no, definitely the NBA. I just can't remember whose staff he came off of and where they get him from. I just can't remember right this second. But they got lots to work with.
they do.
Lots to work with. Now they couldn't slow down even with the studs they got. Well, excuse me, one stud, because Carl Anthony ain't playing no defense on the beat. He tries to, but he ain't
Yeah.
playing no defense. But they tried to slow him down, and he was just cooking them. So it wasn't, and the crazy part. That's the most I've seen Embiid aggressive, wide, going to the hoop. Embiid don't dunk. He dunks every once in a while. He literally tried to dunk 5, 6 times on people tonight.
I
So
know.
he was like showing off a little bit, like y'all think y'all can stop me? Like stop it. It's barbecue chicken every time I touch the ball.
Yo, he was trying to prove a point, man.
Yeah,
I mean, he was trying to prove a point. And look, I mean, he's in that company, Al. Like he's in that,
yeah.
that Moses Malone, that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I mean, dare I say Wilt Chamberlain? He's becoming in that company. And do you think we take him for granted?
Yes,
Because I
yes.
feel that way. I
Not
feel
even,
like
not even a hesitation on that.
I
100.
saw you didn't even think about that.
Nah, nah, dude. This is greatness. Like he is the next big thing that's going to be going down in Sixers history. Like he's going to be he's going to be more popular than AI, and you know how popular AI is.
Oh
He's
yeah.
going to score so many points. He's going to break so many records. He's going to he probably win another scoring title this year. He should be the leading candidate for the MVP right now. Like, what if imagine him going back to back MVPs? Like, stop it. He's going to
Wow.
have so many all-star appearances. Like all that is important now obviously is winning, and that's the last key component of getting him to the level that he deserves and the recognition that he deserves. People recognize him around the NBA, but they don't recognize him like I think they should. I still don't think they respect him the way they do. And I know Philly doesn't appreciate him the way he should. He deserves to be. Like this dude is like to dribble like that, to shoot like that. Like you can put him in a couple different bodies, like Akeem, and shoots like Dirk, and like that is sick. Like it's
Yeah, I
sick.
know.
Like it's
It
just
is. It's I mean, I heard Ala say tonight a great point. He was like, once he came out of the game, he got his 51. And he said, the scary part is it just like it comes easy to him. Like he's not even
yeah,
trying.
yeah,
And he's so intelligent. That was a good point too. Like, it's funny. I noticed, and it was even towards the end of the game. I forget who was at the line for Minnesota. Somebody was at the line, and then they came down, and then you saw Embiid go Reese, and tell kind of instructed Tyrese on the
yeah. I
court.
heard. I
Right? You
heard.
see that? Like, I don't remember that, man. Like he's bought in to whatever Nick Nurse is selling, and I mean
Yeah,
that's only
Nick,
good for all of us.
Nick's in his ear about certain things to recognize. Remember, a lot of people, that's an underrated hiring right there. He did win a chip. I know he
Yeah,
had
he did.
Kawhi. I know he had Kawhi, but he did hit. He did win a chip. It ain't easy to win a chip. I don't care who it is.
You're right. You're right. And
He
he's
know what it takes.
Yeah, and he's not a flashy guy, man. Like you listen to him talk, he's not. He doesn't sound like this really vindictive and powerful guy. He just seems like an average guy, man. An average guy, and they're the kind of guy sometimes that just really that people buy into. Like this guy, he's authentic. He's got no skeleton. He just is who he is, and like you said, he won a chip, man. So he comes with a litany of success, and again being able to coach superstars like a Kawhi Leonard, went through load management. We know all about that. But I mean, another thing that I think is pretty special too is watching Tyrese just because again I don't even want to get in an argument with anybody about is he a superstar or so. I don't even care. Like at this time right now, I just know that this kid is blossoming in to something so extremely special, and we drafted him and we've groomed him, and he continues to play here. So I mean that's something I think that's being underrated too.
Yeah, yeah. That was a ridiculous pick that Maury doesn't get the proper credit for, because you hear when he say he picked him, Maury picked him. Oh, it was nobody else to pick, so
I
he
hate that. I hate
come
that.
on, stop it, man. How many teams? What did we pick them at? 21. So 21 other teams didn't even think to take this kid, and
Right.
Maury doesn't. They don't want to give Maury the proper credit. Like he got this kid and he stole him now. And look
Yes,
what
he
a
did.
piece going to be. By the way, I put this on I put this in one of those Sixers chats that I am on Facebook. How
Okay.
many people want to admit that they wanted to trade him for Lillard last year?
Me. I did. I did. I did. Listen, I did. I 100%, man. But here,
you know I'd be putting my stuff out there. I never was going to do it because
yeah,
I kept telling people you
I know.
don't know the potential,
You
and this
don't.
is what the
You don't.
potential is,
But but
and he
in all
could get better.
no, you're right. But in all
Uh,
fairness, and again, I think when people said trade Tyree, I mean everybody has their own reasoning, right? And for
right,
me, I can only talk about me.
it's
And for me,
Lillard. I mean, I get it.
it was just about the health of Joel, man. Like,
Okay.
here's a big guy, and I didn't know this was going to be a Nick Nurse style system. We didn't know the changes that were ahead. It was at that time, it's like, look, we need to win in the next couple years, or we may not have a shot.
Yeah, nobody
And
knew that they was going to take this jump.
yeah,
This is
I mean,
this
and they
jump.
just, man, just watching guys like Kelly Oubre just buy in, and I've always liked Oubre from a garbage kind of guy. He does it all, and he just, I mean, comes in on a 1-year contract, and he's just, he's playing out of his mind, man. Like everybody seems to be buying in, and again, it's just a special thing to witness right now.
Yeah, that's what you need. You need everybody to be on the same page, and obviously, they established that in training camp, and everybody is on one accord. So I mean, as long as you can keep that, and no, now I did see that's what a part of you got to be careful with. I know Embiid was feeling that last night, but um I seen Kelly, and I seen I can't remember his name right now, but I seen a couple people wide open when he was dribbling a little too much and getting his rhythm for a shot. So you don't want to. I know you were hot, right? And I
Yep.
know you was in a rhythm, but you don't want to mess anybody chemistry up by passing up open shots and because you're feeling it too much. That's what I'm saying. So my ideal thing was this year for him to score less and let other people do more. And that will help us in the playoffs later down the line. So as you establish that during the year, that it would be beneficial more in the playoffs if everybody contributed. So
Yeah.
now that he's on this like heater for the whole season, you're obviously not going to change that, but you still need to make sure everybody touches the ball, everybody gets their shots, and at least attempts to do something. Now, if they give the ball back to him, then that's another thing. But I don't want people to get discouraged like, damn, he's just going to shoot a certain amount of shots a game, and I'm lucky to get a shot. You don't want people to think like that.
Yeah, no, you're right, man. You're right. Well, look, before before it gets too late, I gotta swing it
Oh,
over
my
because,
God. I didn't know it's
uh,
12:15.
yeah, but are you saying it's not late?
No, I didn't. I didn't even know it was 12:15.
Yeah, see, I got you. Listen, man, because you go all around, man. So I gotta this Eagles thing, man. Let's swing up because I think you know, people people just get a little crazy, but maybe they're not too crazy, right? And we talk about the Nick Sirianni question marks. We're talking about what's changed from last year to this year. Is it culture? Is it Jalen? Is it Sirianni? Is it like, bro, I don't know about you, man, but I am not getting a good vibe what's going on, and I'm not saying who's to blame. It just something is happening and I'm just not sure what it is, and it just feels like it's all starting to crumble, and I don't see it having a good ending, man.
I don't really know what's going on. It is a little different vibe, but you got to. Well, first of all, at the beginning of the season, I predicted a 4 or 5 loss season. So this is not like a huge surprise to me because I it's just too much change. When you go from linebackers to safeties to new D coordinator to new offensive coordinator, it was too much turnover to be what we were last year. Plus, all of the schedule that we had. We had the hardest schedule in the NFL, and nobody remember. Everybody doesn't care about that. Like that's no big deal that we had the hardest schedule. Nobody's played the people that we've played in a row like that. I haven't seen a schedule like that in a long time. In a row, like I can see it spread out, but in a row, that was crazy. All right, so that's first of all. So now, second of all, people were thinking that it was going to be last year. Last year is last year. This year is this year. You can't think that we're going to play and everything is going to go like it went last year. We were spoiled of how we were blowing everybody out, and everybody think that all right now if you don't blow people out, you're not doing that good, huh? What happened to a win is a win is a win? People forgot about that part. So
Yeah,
then so now let's go to the play on the field. Obviously, Hurts has I think myself, and I've been saying it all year, he was spoiled too. He he thinks in his head that it should be the big plays all the time. And you can't, it's not going to be like that. You got to take what the defense gives you. And he's being greedy. And that's what happened on that Quez, which first of all, he had no business throwing the Quez Watkins. I would never throw the Quez Watkins on a bomb. Like he doesn't even fight for the ball. He could care less
no,
about the ball. I
you're
never
right.
seen a wide receiver to care less about fighting for the ball. That's embarrassing. So that's first. And then the AJ, he shouldn't have threw that pass. It wasn't the last play of the game. He made it the last play of the game, but it wasn't that serious. We only needed 10 to 15 yards. That's what he should have been concentrating on to tie the game. So stuff is happening. He's forced a lot of passes, and like 3 or 4 of those interceptions this year. I'm a be honest. Was great plays that the safety came over and took it away from a wideout. So it wasn't, and then a couple of tip passes. So it wasn't. He's played awful. I think he's just made bad decisions in bad moments. So it's not like he's playing awful. I just think he's made bad decisions in bad moments, and then the defense been absolutely putrid. So it is what it is. And I knew re-signing Bradbury was a bad idea. I said it before the season started. I said he had a career year last year. It was nowhere to go but down. So I knew that was a bad idea getting him, re-signing him, and then the rest is what it is with all the injuries in the secondary. I mean, it's just been one thing after another. I think we should be able to recover, win these 3 games, and then whatever happens in the playoffs happens in the playoffs.
Uh, well, here's my thing, man. I have, me, I have a theory. I always have a theory. You know how I roll, but I'm curious. Now, my theory is that, listen, we know about the whole offensive coordinator. I know everybody talk about Brian Johnson, but Brian Johnson was the guy who Jalen Hurts wanted. I mean, that's who he campaigned for. That's who he wanted. A guy with no actual experience at the position to be the guy, because that was his guy. Now,
Mm,
if that guy is showing he's not the guy and he doesn't have the relationship with the other players, maybe, just maybe, he's giving Jalen a little pass on certain things. It creates animosity, throughout the locker room. And then certain guys like a
that's true.
Devontae Smith and an AJ Brown, maybe they're looking at him like, yo, man, this offense stinks right now, and this is your guy. You wanted him here. And
Right.
I don't know, because here's what I see, Al, and tell me if you see the same thing. The different demeanor from Jalen Hurts, and what I mean is, last year, if things were going bad, man, he was up in somebody's face. Now he just seems like he goes to the bench and sulks a little bit. Like, that just seems different to me, and I can't figure out why that's happening.
I don't really know that. I don't know. I mean, a lot of people comment on what he looks like when they catch him on camera. They say he's not talking to people. He's not on the iPad. How do we really know? I mean, we don't. We see what the TV allows us to see. They not. If it's a local broadcast, like say if it was a preseason game and it was our local TV, then they would show the sideline a million times. When it's a national thing, they got to show so many different things. They ain't got time to keep looking at Hurts to see what he's doing. So, do we really know that he's not talking to the offensive line? Do you really know he's not talking to his wideouts or talking to Brian Johnson or talking to Quez and them? You don't really know. We just see him sitting there. They show him one time and then they pan and do something else. So I don't know. I can't say for sure. I just know that things aren't the same because of the turnovers, and the turnovers have been huge. 2 turnovers Monday, 3 turnovers against Dallas, no turnovers against the 49ers. I will say that. But those turnovers have been huge. When we lost to the Jets, 4 turnovers. Like, that's been our Achilles heel this year. Way too much, too loosey goosey with the ball, and that's been a huge part. Plus, bad execution. I'm looking at a lot of people. I follow a lot of people that breaks down tape, like Baldy and stuff, missing blocks, missing assignments. Uh, all those things count. So when you say that the play calling isn't that great, well, what if it didn't? You didn't execute the play good enough, and that's why it wasn't. That's why this didn't happen, or that's why that didn't happen. Why did you run this play? Oh, that play because this guy missed the block, and that's why the play wasn't successful. But people don't look at that. They just say, oh, that was a bad play. So it's a lot of little stuff that's combined to me. I wouldn't say. I mean, I'm not really worried. I'm concerned, because of the turnovers and the stuff that keeps happening. But I wouldn't say like I'm worried about. I mean, I heard people talking about, oh, are we going to fire Sirianni if we don't go to the Super Bowl? But like people are going crazy. Like this, you know how the city goes, man. They go out of their mind, man. We lose a couple games and the world is coming to an end. It's just too much overreaction to me.
You know what? I do feel that. I do think because I was talking the other day with a couple people, and I was like, why do we always rip our athletes down? Like, our in the simple fact that, listen, we just talked about a guy in Joel Embiid that is elevating himself to possibly the best Sixer of all time. We have a guy in Bryce Harper who is possibly could be go down as the greatest Philly of all time. And here we are in Philadelphia, and I don't know who the greatest of all time is. Always probably going to be B-Dog, in my opinion. But you still have a really, really good player in Jalen Hurts that's only in his third year technically, and we want to rip everybody down as soon as a couple things happen. So that's
Right,
one thing I don't agree with.
right.
Right? I mean, and that's where I think we got to give them a little
not just beat them down, but rip them to shreds.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
I mean, I got
attack
people
them personally.
saying, yeah, is he turning into Wentz already? Like, what are you talking about? We won 10 games already. We already clinched the playoff spot. We played the hardest schedule in the league. Nobody cares about none of that. They're so spoiled from last year. They don't want to hear anything. That's the craziest thing I ever heard of people wanting to get rid. They want to fire this person, fire that person, trade this person, trade that. We do got 10 wins, right? We do.
I know, and I tell you, man, that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. Now,
Oh
we got another call. I'm gonna keep you on now. We got a friend of the program popping in. We got our man Trevor popping in. Yo, Trev, what's up, buddy?
Is this thing live? Are we live right now?
We're live and hot.
A little bit, bro. I'm trying to change the game a little bit, man.
I like this. I saw you guys as I'm rolling home right now after watching the Miami Heat blitz the Orlando Magic. I was producing that bad boy. So
no, yeah. See, we got a hey Al, we got a producer. We got celebrity on with us, man.
Yeah, that's nice right there.
Oh yeah.
And well, come on, Trevor. You gotta, before we're talking, what we're talking about here, man. You know the topics that we're talking.
Oh yeah.
So what's your take, man, from across the map here? What are you thinking with this Eagles team, man?
I'm allowed to be worried. I think this is like a soap opera, I feel. It's the biggest soap opera of an Eagle team I've ever seen. Like Howie Roseman and Jeff Lurie coming from the clouds and like doing stuff that we saw under the Doug Peterson era, which is wild already. I thought we would never go back there. Lo and behold, we're back to that, I feel. I'm shocked by it. I'm still have no words for it, honestly. I just can't stand the offense, really. That's the one thing I can't say. It seems lethargic. I just did not know what to expect out of this team. And it's like they're crashing and burning in front of my eyes. It feels very Flyer-esque, as I like to say.
Oh, Flyer-esque, man. You went Flyers.
Yes.
Look at that. Wow, that's interesting, man.
It feels very Flyer-ish. Like someone's not happy with something. Like Ed Snyder would do something, but like Ed Snyder had a touch to it a little bit. This one, I don't think Lurie has no idea what he wants to do, and he's just doing something very panicky move. This is very Ed Snyder-ish, as I like to say.
So do you think that it's that because again, our man Al's on too, and he's talking about overreaction and there's people right now that are essentially saying, and I don't want to give them no play, and Al knows what I'm talking about, but we got radio hosts in this city that are legitimately saying that Sirianni's coaching for his job in these final 3 games. I mean, I think that's a stretch, man. Like that's just my opinion. What like from your perspective is that even legit? Do you think you really think this guy making a playoffs goes to a Super Bowl and all of a sudden he starts off as the best team in football. They get a little stumble about now. All of a sudden he's coaching for his job.
I think it's ridiculous, honestly. I just think that's the biggest hot take of all hot takes. I know if you were whoever's on the hot seat really in Philadelphia, I think it's the coordinators. I feel like they're all going to get fired this year, especially Brian Johnson. But the one thing I have, my conspiracy, They only fired Desai because they can't fire Brian Johnson right away because Brian Johnson's boys with Jalen Hurts ever since he was a wee high kid.
See, there it was, and that's you know what I love about that. That's exactly what I said, Trevor. You know, they put themselves in such a predicament because of that, man. Like I got like literally because you know what they did was they hired his boy.
Yeah.
And you don't pay the guy, hire his boy, and then what are you're going to piss off this guy, man? Like, and that's a problem. I think
I would never have put in Brian Johnson as offensive coordinator. I would have kept him at QB coach. Go outside the building and grab someone to be the offensive coordinator. Because I'm down here in Miami, I would love to have the Miami Dolphins offensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles, please. Like, I would love that right now because he's not even the play caller. I think he could do a better job, anyways, than what we have currently with Brian Johnson. Honestly,
yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it. And but here's the question I'll pose. Al, I'll go to you first. I'll go back to Trevor. You know what? To piggyback what Trevor's saying, if I think a lot of heat on Nick Sirianni is because I look at it as, you know, we've seen this with many of coaches throughout the NFL in the past. If something's not working, right? If this is Kyle Shanahan's team, the first thing he does is step in and be like, yo, this needs to change. So, you know, I don't understand because I would think that if Nick Sirianni, you know, is this offensive guy, he needs to step in and be like, Brian, I don't know what you're doing, but I need to call plays now. Or I need, like, why isn't that happening then if it's Brian Johnson?
I think Nick Sirianni is scared to do that. I think he gave up play calling to give it to Shane Steichen, which led to him get a job. If I was Sirianni, I would ask for the play calling back to see if I could do anything at least, you know? Because I feel like if he does that, I feel like if he takes back play calling, I feel like he's going to piss off Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, but you got 3 games left. You can't do that right now. The defense is different, but the offense, you can't. He's been calling plays for all these games. If you was going to do that, first of all, we just
the only
lost
good game that Brian Johnson had was the Tampa game.
Before that, though, we were scoring before the last 3 games that we lost. We were scoring 28 points a game. That's top 5 in the whole NFL. So the offense wasn't that bad. It's just that the turnovers made it look bad. We actually ran up and down the field with Dallas, and then every time we got to the red zone, we turned the ball over. So it's not like we wasn't moving the ball. The turnovers kill the offense. So you can't necessarily say the offense wasn't moving, and just because we turned the ball over, it's not the offensive coordinator fault that we fumbling and throwing picks.
No, I could totally see that, but it's also like, what complete game have the Eagles had this whole year? I think it's the Tampa game and probably the Miami game. Other than that, it's been like middle of the road pretty much the whole year.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, like the only time I was in Tampa and I saw the offense was at least humming and trying to put up points at least, you know?
But I mean, I knew this was going to happen, though. I just didn't think. I don't know why nobody else thought this was going to happen. How are you going to get a brand new offensive coordinator and not have some hiccups? It's inevitable. It's going to happen.
Look what Hugh Jackson did when he went to Cincinnati after Jay Gruden got hired and Mike Zimmer. I bring this up. It was the most reasonable thing. They both lost their coordinator jobs because of they got head coaching jobs. Hugh Jackson came in and Mike Zimmer, and I forgot who the other person was. Hugh Jackson took a year. It took them a year to get the offense to click, and they were clicking the year after. So I feel like it's like year after year. It's like a 2-year process almost, you know?
Right.
But I think we are expected, like, we're supposed to see everything be like, it's going to be like last year all over again, which really isn't anyways.
Right. I could see him like staying this year. Whatever happens this year happens this year. And then he'll have a year of experience underneath his belt and then come back next year and we be closer towards last year than this year. But if we go far in the playoffs, we'll have another hard schedule. So it just really depends.
It's gonna be honestly, who knows what's gonna happen Monday afternoon on Christmas Day. That's my thing. You know, like I don't want to say the sky is falling. If they lose to the Giants, this season's over.
They're not
Yes.
losing to the Giants.
Yeah,
Stop.
listen, Al. I'm being honest with you, man. So listen. I know, and I'm not saying they will, but I'm not trying to be. But
Have
what
you
I'm
seen the
saying
point
is
spread
we've
out?
seen this before,
Yeah, the
though.
point spread is, I think it's like 12.
It's a lot of points. I don't see the
Yeah.
Eagles covering that 12-point
Well, we
spread.
don't need to cover. We just need to win the game. I don't care if we win by 1 point. That's another. I just don't. I never understood the.
Do you want a heart
We
attack
need
on
to win
Christmas
by.
Day
We need
with
to
your
win
family?
better.
I don't want that in my life right now. I like to have this game be like blowout, but I don't see it being a blowout. I think it's gonna be a close game, anyways.
We are at home. We're not at that trash stadium. Well, not the stadium is the trash. The turf is trash.
Well, the
They're gonna say,
stadium's
wait,
trash.
the
I've
trash
been to that.
is FedEx.
I've been to that
We
stadium.
ain't
That
playing the
stadium is trash.
Commanders.
Yeah. The stadium is the actual stadium. I've been there. The stadium is nice. The turf is though is just like, I wish we have everything wrapped up by that game, because I don't even want the starters to play on that.
No,
I hate it.
I agree with you there.
I think the big problem is with the turf thing. Players are wearing cleats where they should just go back to the old turf jet shoe from '97, like a Brett Favre wore or Barry Sanders wore. That could at least do a little better than the wearing a football cleat on that turf. That's
And
the
what they
problem.
need to do is just rip it up and actually get grass, but nobody want to pay the money to take care of it.
Well, that's the problem.
It's the person who does not want to pay for it. It's Woody Johnson. That's your name you're looking at. The Mara family wants to put grass down. Woody Johnson's it's just the cheapskate on that one.
Yeah, I know it costs
Johnson.
a lot of money to keep it taken care of all year, but if it's going to keep your players healthy, then that's what's most important. But they don't have no superstars to be worrying about to say, oh, let me make sure my superstars is not hurt. So that's why they don't care right now. Yeah, I bet you if that was the reason why Rodgers got hurt, I bet you he would have did it then.
Who knows
He
what's
just
going to
didn't
happen in
think
the
that was the
offseason?
reason.
Good point. That's a good point.
Yeah.
But look, let's do this, because again, like, this is again something new. Just so everybody knows, if you're watching on Twitter or X, whatever the heck you want to call it, you're watching on YouTube, watching on Facebook, and listen, we're just going all audio. I'm trying to start a little late night thing from 11 to 12, 11 to 1 every night. A lot of different things coming up. So if you want to get involved in the program, just like dialing into a number, except all you need to do is click on the link. You can just sit there on your phone and we could have a conversation. Boys, I'm glad that you guys are here, because I know both of you guys are wrestling fans, and I one of my biggest goals on these programs is to talk a little wrestling, and I don't think that I remember a time since probably the Attitude Era, which I know it's cliche but true, where the WWE has been this level of excitement. And right now, with everybody coming back and everybody being in the mix, Al, let me ask you first, because I know you watch, and then I'll get to Trevor. Because they're mixing me up, man. Like, I'm getting side, like, who's going to be the guy? Is it going to be Cody? Is it going to be AJ? Is it going to be Randy? Like, LA Knight, these guys, like, and everybody forgets about Gunther, man. This dude is an absolute beast. Yeah. And I mean, like, what do you see happening? I mean, we got the Royal Rumble coming up.
That's the problem. They're not giving you the sign. Like, normally you would know at this point of year who is going to be the next person. But they don't want to tell you. So and then CM Punk comes out of nowhere. You don't know who's going to be, because you would automatically think it's Cody. But how the hell you know? I think Gunther should lose the title, right? And then he could go for one of the heavyweight titles, because that's what he should be doing. He should be one of them. I don't think he should be. I think he wore the Intercontinental title out. Like, it's done. Enough is enough with him having that. Yeah, you're the most dominant. Get a world title now. That's where he should be at. And then, I don't know. I know one thing. I'm tired of Roman Reigns having the belt. I'm worn out. Enough is enough with him, dude. Please let him lose. I'm tired of him. Let him go on a vacation for like 6 months and then come back and try to win it again. but I'm
Well,
done with him keep winning.
I think you're going to get your wish because, from everything that I read and I follow, we're at a time where, it looks like Roman Reigns, may be done for the foreseeable future, once this reign's over because, they've approached him on contract extensions and he's turned them down. I don't think, he's battered, man. Like, all the chemo and radiation that he dealt with is, for what he's been able to do. Listen, that's a reason why they made Seth Rollins a champion because Roman Reigns couldn't handle the schedule, and they knew that he was so damn dominant, right? But here's the interesting part, and Trev, I'll ask you this question.
Go.
Are they? Because I love listening to Busted Open. I'm a big Busted Open fan, and I'm listening to them. And they're talking about Hulk Hogan's record that for holding the title. Do you think they stretch it out to SummerSlam to try to get Roman to break this record, or do you think WrestleMania he drops the belt?
So, I have not watched wrestling since, I'm going to be honest with you, since 2013.
What?
Yeah.
I thought you were a big wrestling guy.
No, I'm not actually. When CM Punk left, I was watching it a little bit in college when he left the first time in 14. When he after that Royal Rumble, I took my sabbatical and I never went back anyways.
Really?
I'm not gonna lie. I just went full out. I was like, I'm good now, It was a breakaway. Like, yep, I'm good. I don't need this anymore in my life. It's just work got in the way. Like, I don't like DVRing stuff. I just never felt invested in anything. I felt like the same old people. And I was like, you know what? I'm good. I'm gonna do the deuces up and just peace out, Like, I'm not gonna lie. It's the best thing ever. Like, on my nights off, it's like what I'm gonna watch. Like, I'll just watch a stand-up comedy or just go somewhere else, honestly.
Yeah,
and plus,
I've been invested for so long, and I can't get away from it. I can't get away from it.
I tried during COVID when there was nothing on. I was like, okay, I'll watch AEW. Did it for 2 months. Got bored. I was like, this feels like the same almost, and I'm like, all right, I'm good. Deuces out again, and
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's definitely definitely for a niche audience. You're either in or you're out. You know what I mean? And
there's no middle ground.
No, there's not, and because it's hard because there's so many storylines. You come back and you're like, wait, what the hell just happened? Like, I don't remember this guy. I don't remember this person. I don't remember that.
That was me. Yeah, I was like, you know what? I once I left, I was like, okay, we're good.
I feel bad, man. Like, listen, you're more than welcome to stay around for the wrestling chat, but this is the wrestling segment, so as long as you're cool.
You know what? I'm gonna leave because I gotta do some stuff for tomorrow.
That's awesome, though, dude. Yeah, listen, thanks for checking in, and like I said, I'm trying to do something a little new here. Trying to do 5 days a week, every night, talking different things, just audio only, man. So I appreciate you popping in, man, as always.
As always, check out the Upper Bowl podcast. Definitely subscribe to the podcast.
Always having great guests, by the way. Dude, always having great guests.
We got the big one this week.
Who you got?
So I'm not. You got to subscribe to the podcast. You
I ain't gonna tell you.
I like that. I like that.
That's
all right, Trev. Yo, happy holidays, Trev.
Take care.
All right, see you, brother. So Al, man, we'll wind this down while we're talking. But what do you think, man? Like, I'm like, look, we got let me hop in for the listen, Devon, check it out. Right there, the link is right there on the YouTube page in the chat. Click on that link. It's a StreamYard link. And as long as you're on your phone, you'll get on. Just need the audio. That's it. So if you see that, just click on it and I'll let you right in. But Al, how about this, man? Like, you can't let you had Cody can't lose to Roman again.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so, but how's he finished the story? The whole thing was, I need to finish the story. We all know what that is. That's to win the belt because, of his dad.
So the only way he would have to do that to go to the SmackDown side is for him to win the Royal Rumble because he's on Raw. So that the only way he could do that is win the Royal Rumble. Otherwise, he can't just go to SmackDown and just challenge for the title. It don't work like that. So either he's going to have to win the Royal Rumble or or beat what's the name for the title, and then challenge Roman Reigns at WrestleMania for title. He could do that.
This is true.
He
This is
could
true.
do
I mean,
that.
there's so many storylines. There's so many
I'm
storylines.
hearing The Rock's going to come back and try to challenge Roman. I don't know what. It's so many things that can happen. It's crazy.
It is. It is. And we got another caller in line. We'll bring him in. Divine, what's up, man?
Yo, what's up, man?
Oh man, you caught the wrestling talk, huh?
Yeah, I just hopped in for the wrestling chat, bro. I was I was just listening. I'm like, oh, let me talk some wrestling real quick.
Yeah,
I
man. What you
mean,
think, man? What's your like? So many different storylines we could go into, man. What do you think's happening next?
yeah, but yo, I actually like checked out of wrestling for a bit, especially like during COVID. But then I kind of came back when I heard that the woman tribal chief stuff was like getting a lot
Yep.
of heat and stuff. So I was like, yo, let me check it in. And it was interesting for a long time. They did the thing with Sami Zayn,
Yep.
and a lot of that stuff was like really good. All the Sami Zayn bit
It was
and the
over. It was over
yeah,
big
it was over. Yeah, Sami Zayn was entertaining as hell, and like the Usos, like all of that was fun. And like I think now it's just like, well, a woman has beat everybody. Like the man's not even on TV no more. Like the man not even doing anything. He's champion, but he's not even there. And it's like, at least like they gotta take the belt out of him and put to someone that's actually gonna show up. It's
Right.
like you said, like that's why they gave Seth the title, right?
Yeah.
Because Roman's not there.
That's exactly what I said. I had enough of him, dude. I'm
Yeah.
just.
Yeah,
It's been like
like,
3 years. It's literally been like 3 years since he lost.
Over
yeah, it's been
1,000
cool,
days,
but
man. It's insane.
It's
it
crazy.
is the same. Even the worst part is that like, well, they got Jimmy and Solo like on SmackDown, like pretty much holding the bloodline because Roman's not there. And the whole Jimmy turning on Jay at SummerSlam was just like was weird. I mean, it's like it helped Jay because it turned Jay, like Jay has been a superstar so far, but like Jimmy has kind of not been doing much. And they're not really the bloodline thing has kind of faded away, which was like why I came back in the first place. But
Yeah.
I think what's good right now is like, you got a lot of stars popping up like CM Punk, LA Knight, Cody, and like there's so many guys that like over, and it's like anyone could be Roman, anyone could be Roman, it's just about like who's gonna do it.
I still here's what here for me, I really think that the X factor here that nobody's talking about, and I think he's due for one more big run is AJ Styles. And
Oh my God! Did you
did you
see
see how ripped he was?
Yeah.
Yo, Randy and AJ Styles came back ripped. It's like, yo, what happened to the wellness
Wow.
policy?
I
mean, he
seen
can
him
have
that
like his own GNC commercial, man. That dude's, I couldn't believe it. I was
he
like,
in the
he's just
best
trying to
shape of
get on the
his
youth.
life. The best shape of his life.
Yeah, that's the best I've seen him ever.
And,
Wow.
and here's the thing, fellas. Why do you get in the best shape of your life?
A run.
Right. You ready for a run.
Mm.
And because what you guys just said, Devon, what you just said, Al, what you just said, you think about it and you need somebody to carry the company. And if Roman can't do it anymore and Brock isn't going to be able to do it, Randy can't do it, Orton can't do it, right? So who can do it? Like who can? It's Cody or it's AJ. So and then think about that feud. Like, I mean, my Lord. I mean, AJ is gold on the microphone. He's gold in the ring. He's fan friendly. I mean, listen, to me, it's him and Cody. I mean, I think
forgot
that's what
about
we're looking at
AJ.
for the next 2 years.
Yeah, I did. I actually forgot about AJ that quick.
Yeah.
Because he just came back because he was out for a while, just like Randy.
So wait, I want to test you fellas for a minute because I want to see how. I know you, Devon, you say you checked out a little bit during COVID, but this was pre-COVID. Do you understand? Did you catch the resemblance of the way he looked when he came out in the black? Did you think
AJ?
about anything with that?
You mean AJ?
Yeah, with AJ.
Resemblance with who?
From a previous character he once was in another organization.
Oh, with TNA or
Yes.
Impact or whatever it's called now.
Yeah, TNA.
I didn't
Remember when
notice
he went
that.
away?
Yeah.
Remember when he came back as like the lone wolf, and he came
Oh.
back
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Oh
that
yeah,
kind of
I
thing?
seen. I
Yep.
mean, they might run something like that, cause what would happen? Well, I think he attacked. Was he LA Knight?
LA Knight.
What? I mean SmackDown. Yeah, he attacked LA Knight. So he might be doing this. It's me against the rest of you, cause like I ain't got friends. Cause he's not
Exactly.
riding with the OCs no more, right?
No,
So
and
it's
Yo,
like,
that
no. Nope.
by
yeah,
the way, that was the best decision they made getting rid of all that dead weight. They got
Oh yeah.
all
that's
those
true.
people they got rid of. That was a fantastic idea to get rid of all of them.
It was a bunch of jobbers, man. Like you didn't need them, man. Like
No.
you didn't. They
Yeah,
were
they
just
need
filling
AJ with
seats.
all those people, but
And my girl is all over the internet that she's coming back.
Don't even tell me.
What was her?
Don't tell me
Um,
Sasha.
yes, it's
Oh,
all
see,
over the internet.
oh yeah,
please,
And
that would be
and
a Christmas gift to me.
she's asking for more money than Charlotte though. That's the
Ooh,
problem.
you ain't get more than the queen.
Yeah,
I mean, she's hurt right now. She's hurt for like 9 months. They said.
Yeah, she tore her ACL.
She tore her ACL, so that's why she was
So I
out.
mean, they need someone to fill that spot. So I
Yo,
mean,
if
why not, bro?
she come back, the women's division is gonna be crazy.
That's
Because
true.
the other girl, she ain't even ready yet. So when she come, plus Shasha, plus everybody else, and Charlotte gonna be out for at least a year. Charlotte
Yeah,
ain't coming back no time soon. She tore ACL, meniscus, everything.
Mm.
yo,
She so
they gotta get her back. That's what I'm saying. Like if they get Sasha back,
yeah,
then they
that's
got
why I think
Rhea.
they might get her back because it's going to fill Charlotte's time slot.
Yeah, I
And
mean, they
then
even talk about AJ might come back.
You put her on SmackDown against all the people on SmackDown, then you got a slot because the other girl, she going to Raw. I know she going to Raw.
Who's
What
that?
we talking about?
What's the girl name that didn't premiere yet? That came from
Oh,
Oh,
Jade
Jade
Cargill.
Cargill.
yeah, she
Oh,
didn't premiere yet. So I think
beast.
they're gonna put somebody like her on Raw.
They have to because
Yeah.
she's going. Listen, that's the future feud, man. Her and Rhea Ripley. I mean,
That's true.
that's
Yeah.
going to be massive.
Yeah, that's gonna be a war. That's gonna
Yep,
be a war.
and if Rhea in Judgment Day, Jade is going to have her posse, right?
Yeah.
He's going to have her group, her
With Bobby
faction.
Lashley and them, huh?
Yeah.
Oh,
I could
that's
see
sick.
him do
I
it
could
with
see
Bobby
that.
Lashley.
Uh-huh.
That actually would be work out perfectly if she did it with Bobby Lashley.
Oh, the hurt business.
Yeah, that would work out pretty good.
That would be beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful, man. And that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what's so great. I think, about this is there's just so many different directions,
Mhm.
that we could absolutely go into, man. That's I'm excited. I really am. I'm excited. I'm excited for the talk more wrestling. I'm glad that, I'm bringing wrestling to this program because I think it's not talked about enough. And I will say this, for me, I get your fellas' take on it in a second. For me, right now, I'm going to ask you guys, and I'm going to say mine first. The most underrated wrestler that doesn't get enough credit right now, for me personally, it's Bailey. I think
Oh,
Bailey is not getting the accolades. She is turned into the one of the best heels I've ever seen in the women's division. And the best thing about Bailey was this was her idea. She pitched this years ago. Like, this wasn't creative coming to Bailey. This was Bailey going to creative. Like, I can do this. Like, I'm kissing babies. Now all of a sudden I'm ripping her heads off. I mean, here, I will say this, and people might say it's far-fetched, but it actually has a little bit of Hogan turning to NWO a little bit because Hogan was that fan friendly. And that's what Bailey was. Remember, Bailey was like the macho man of a female. You know what I mean? So I think she's the most underrated. Devon, who would you say right now in the wrestling business? It doesn't matter if it's WWE, AEW, wherever. That's the most underrated. You think?
The most underrated.
Yeah, but like don't get
Yeah,
talked
I like that Bailey take because they be making her take a lot of pinfalls, man. And I'm
Yes.
like, come on, she deserves better than that.
Yes. And I think
The
that's why
most,
they allowed her to bring back that, damage control, man. Like she cut a hell of a promo the other
Mhm.
day. She's such a great heel, man. She
she
really
is,
is.
she is underrated. I don't know. I want to say like I really like Trick on NXT. Trick Williams.
I
I
like
don't know
Trick.
if Trick Williams on NXT right now. That
Yep.
guy is super over.
Yes.
Like you got him coming out. Everyone's going, "Oh, wolf that trick, wolf that trick." You
Oh, I
know
love
that?
it, man. I
Yeah,
love it.
yeah. I really like him, bro. Like if it's just like if I think he just needs to improve on his ring work. But other than that, like he could go in the main roster and like catapult like real quick, like super quick.
Yeah, I think so
So
too. I think so
yeah,
too.
yeah, I might
100%.
go with him because I think he's really like up right now.
What about you,
Uh,
Al?
I don't know. I'm sitting here thinking about it. I'm trying to think. Oh, maybe what's the name's son? I think they should bring him up.
Oh,
Um,
Pillman?
yeah. No, not Pillman. Steiner's son.
Oh, yeah.
oh
Von
yeah,
Breaker.
I don't understand why they haven't brought him up. It's a reason why they haven't brought him up yet, but I don't know what the reason. Because he should have came up 6 months ago.
Something's
that's.
going on.
I
It
thought
is
I thought it
wrong.
was gonna come up like Royal Rumble this year or something.
There's
Yep.
something about why they haven't brought him up yet. I don't know. Is this
Yeah,
something?
again, it could be, maybe maturity. It could it's definitely not his in-ring ability because I
Right.
mean,
Yeah,
he's definitely has that and he's got the
Right.
pedigree. So maybe he's got an attitude problem. Like who knows? I mean, so
Yeah,
I mean,
it could be something. It's got to be something like
it
that.
has to be because he's definitely he's done it all in
Right.
NXT. You know what I mean?
They made him lose the title, then he won it back, then he lose it again. Like if he wanted to win the title again, they would have gave him another shot. They're not even giving him another shot. So
Yeah, I
why
know.
not bring him up and let him he never even touched a Raw ring yet. So that's the crazy part. So that makes
that
me
seems crazy.
right.
Yo, you
So
think they're
here's
trying to line him up with Paul Heyman?
yep.
Like they did the whole thing
That
with
would be nice.
Heyman being in his corners. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe they're just like trying to wait for Roman
And
to
that's the
transition out.
opportunity. That was the opportunity right there. I said, "Oh,
Yep.
he's in his corner. All right, maybe next week he'll be on Raw and bring him on Raw. I mean, not Raw, SmackDown,
SmackDown.
and yeah, but he ain't show up. So I don't know what the hell they're doing.
That was that. Yeah, that was strange. That was
A
strange. Well,
lot of
listen.
times they come up with plans and then they scrap them too. So maybe something happened. They were going to do it, and then something happened and they had to change it.
Well, I would love this, man. Like before we get, before I get out of here on the wrestling note, I watched the promo the other night with MJF and Samoa Joe, and my fantasy booking head of mine says, man, it would be such a great time in the wrestling business if I could have Samoa Joe as the AEW World Champion, to have AJ Styles as the WWE World Champion, two guys that go back way ECW, TNA, Impact, and then put like title for title against the line like they do in New Japan, man. That would be that to me, that would just sum up what's so great about wrestling. That would be an unbelievable match, man.
Do you think he's coming to WWE? I think he is. It's just a matter of time.
Who's
Who,
that?
MJF?
MJF?
Yeah,
Yeah, 100%.
yeah.
I think he'll come
It's no
eventually.
way. Like he don't have. It's nothing else for him to do there. You just pay him whatever he want and bring him to WWE.
Well, he did sign, like he signed a pretty big deal right for AEW, but I think once that deal runs out in the next 2 to 3 years, it's
No,
like you said, Al.
that's not what I heard I heard that he said the other day that it run out at the end of the year.
Oh, I thought he signed a 2-year extension.
I need to look it up. I need to look that up. But I could have swore I read something like 2 days ago that he said he has an offer on the table, but he hasn't signed it yet. But this deal ends at the end of the year.
Okay.
So
That'll
I
be
mean, I
interesting.
don't know 100%, but I could have swore that's what I read.
That'll be interesting. That would be interesting.
And then you
Hey,
got
Devon,
plenty of time.
For final thoughts before you got any final thoughts on the wrestling talk before we let you go here?
I don't know, man. I saw somewhere it was just like a fantasy booking tweet, but it was like talking about a fatal four match between LA Knight, Randy Orton, AJ Styles, and Roman at Royal Rumble.
I could see
Which
that.
honestly, I think that would be good, man. I think I
Oh,
would
that
want to
would
see
be
that.
hot. That
The
would
That
only
be
would
thing that
be
would suck about it though is who be in the Rumble. Like,
right. You taking people out of the Rumble. Yeah,
oh,
even
that
though
is
even though didn't they back in the day the guys would be in the Rumble and they would wrestle too.
yeah. They used to do double. They used to
oh,
do
they
But
used to
double.
that
do
would be
that.
a hellacious match, man.
So what
That
you would have to do is put that match early and then the
yep.
Rumble late, and then so they have time to recover.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you could do that.
Yep. Yep.
Do
No, I
that.
agree. I
Also,
think
I
the
think
Rock
that's
comes back
like,
to the Rumble, by the way. I
wait,
think
who's that?
I think the Rock is in the Rumble this year.
You think so?
Yeah, I do. Yep.
They haven't.
He's,
They
he's
last
not
year
gonna
wasn't
win it
the
though.
surprises
No,
that
he
they
won't win it.
do. They normally have a whole bunch of surprises. Last year wasn't a whole bunch of surprises.
No, it was a lot of NXT guys. A lot of
Yeah,
NXT guys.
yeah.
You know Jade, she's coming out the Royal Rumble.
Oh, 100%. That would be
You know
perfect
that. I
for her.
can't wait to see what her entrance is going to be. Like I'm excited, man. I'm super excited.
Yeah.
But hey, Devon, man, I'm gonna let you go, man. I really appreciate you jumping on, and feel free jump in anytime, man. Like this is something new that I'm trying to start here every night, the late night sports talk. So we appreciate you jumping on, man. Thank you.
No problem, man. I was glad to
Appreciate it.
come on. I was glad to come on.
Oh yeah, anytime, man. Anytime. We'll be here every night about 11 o'clock. So look it up, man. Make sure you subscribe to the page, and you'll get the alerts.
I will, man. I will, man. You keep on doing what you're doing, man. I love talking just sports, wrestling, whatever, man.
Oh, I appreciate it, man. That's why I love
Take
doing
it
it,
easy.
man.
Easy, man.
All
Have
right.
a
All
good
right,
day.
see you,
Good
man. Have
night.
a good one. Yeah, that was pretty cool, man. Like that's what I'm saying, Al. Like we open it up to the community and people come in. We have some good conversation. Look, it's 1 o'clock now. So what? So
Yeah.
before I let you go, brother, what are your final thoughts, man, on this on the Sixers, on the Eagles, on WWE? What do you got?
Dude, I gotta get to. I gotta get. It's going to be so many events that week. I gotta get to one of them.
Yeah, I
It's
know.
it's going to be SmackDown, Raw, NXT is doing a pay-per-view.
Yep.
Then you got WrestleMania, and then all the crap that's going to be all week. I gotta get through a lot of that. I got to somehow, some way.
It's gonna
So
be
that
it's gonna be bedlam, man.
it's going to be nuts. I know it's
It
going to be some
is.
people in town. It's going to be crazy. So
It
that's
is.
one thing. I think the Eagles will be fine, and then we'll figure out what happens in the playoffs. Whatever happens, happens in the playoffs. We went to the Super Bowl last year. I mean, it's hard to get back. So it's not everybody think it's just should be easy to get back. It's not going to be. It was never going to be easy to get back. So let's see what happens when we get to the playoffs. I think we're going to win these last 3 games, and then the Sixers. I'm very excited about. So I'm just looking forward to getting healthy and seeing how this season go. But I know I'm not making any if I make changes at the trade deadline, I'm not making huge changes. I'm making small changes, like a backup point guard, something like that. Because I can't mess with the chemistry now right now. Everybody is in love with everybody. It's all good right now. It's all good vibes. So you don't want to mess with that. And if everybody is in good vibes, that's you don't rock the boat. So that's not fair. And how about the Flyers are on
Ooh.
fire right now?
It's funny. I have them on the agenda for tomorrow night. I want to try to get some people
Woo!
involved because they're exciting, man. I love it. It's a good time to be a Philadelphia sports fan, no matter
Yeah.
how much adversity we got going on. It's a good time, man.
Did you see that they did the Phillies talked to the guy, the
Oh
Japanese.
yeah, the pitcher, right?
Yeah, they already offered him a deal, and then they flew out. They kept that on the wraps. They flew out
Yep.
to L.A. last week. Normally, somebody tell us that they did that, but it's just coming out now that they went last week and talked to him face to face. Now they offered them a deal, but funny how they ain't released the money.
Oh
They
yeah,
ain't
nah,
say
yeah.
what they offered them. They just said they offered them. So that's a little odd too that they didn't want to put the offer out there. So who knows? You might get that guy too.
I'll
You
tell you
get
what,
that
man,
guy
that
and
would
him to the pitching
oof,
staff. Woo!
that one hell of a pitching staff that would be, man.
I,
My
I'm just
God.
getting over losing in the playoffs. By the way,
Yeah, I
I,
know.
I just knew
Trust
we
me.
were going back to the World Series.
I know. I know, man. Me too, man. That was that I still that was a kick in the gut. It really
Yeah.
was. It was all set up, but crazy. All right, brother. Well, look, man,
All
thanks for
right.
jumping in. I
It was good.
appreciate it. And we'll talk soon.
Okay.
All right, see you, Al.
All right.
And that is Al, man. Al joined us at the 2 minute warning on X. Man, it's been great. We listen, we got an hour and a half. I'm a big late night guy, so I like staying up late. I like talking sports. I grew up on the radio, listening to Big Daddy Graham on WIP every night. I loved every minute of it. G Cobb, listen to G Cobb at night. I used to call in. Big Daddy had the trivia. Used to call him for that. Even Paul Jolowitz used to listen to Paul Jolowitz at night. This is important to me. This is something I've always wanted to do. And again, it's going to be a work in progress. It's going to be something that's going to continue to evolve. With guests being booked, with live people. You saw tonight, live people. Boom. What are we talking about? Oh man, I want to get in on the conversation. That's what this is about. Getting everybody involved and get everybody. So one thing, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube page. Make sure you like the channel or like the stream. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell. We also have a lot of other great content on Heat Ratio Sports, the Fourth and Go guys from Dave Gleckner and Mark Tomasini. They hit the airwaves once or twice a month, talking Philly sports. Myself, have a show called The Final Judgment. I'm thinking of a show called Testing the Limits with Tony, so to speak. This will be kind of just a Heat Ratio Sports late night kind of vibe. And it's just free, we're just going to free flow. And we're going to keep it a couple topics every night. We've done some post games, which have been fun. But the whole thing, audio only, man. Like, here's my thing. I love doing video. I do. I do video a lot. I'm in the PR business. I have my own PR company. I do a lot of video. I train on people how to do video. But sometimes I just want to relax and I want to sit behind a microphone, just like the radio guys do. I am a radio guy. I do Sirius satellite on the weekends, talking fantasy sports, talking sports betting for Win Daily Sports, windailysports.com. Make sure you follow them as well. Some tremendous tools when it comes to the world of sports betting. But besides that, this is the format. I think this is the format that we're going to do. I really like it. I like the fact that it's free. As far as being open to the audience and everybody, and you can watch it later. You can watch it in the morning. I will start to podcast these things so you can listen to it on podcast. And speaking of podcast, again, I got to add my own plug in there for the Blue Coats beat. Something I'm very, very proud of. Me and Coach Joe Richmond co-hosting for the Delaware Blue Coats, talking about the Blue Coats team, a little NBA talk, and some special guests. We just dropped an episode today for a great interview with Sonny Hill, the mayor of basketball, talking about George McGinnis, talking about the Sonny Hill League, talking about the Harlem Globetrotters, talking about modern day athletes and the power of influence and so many different things historically, when you go back to the world of basketball. And that's one thing, as I leave for tonight and sign off, I want to bring back the history of sports. It's something I've always wanted to do. I wanted to talk the history of sports moments, and be that guy who just doesn't talk about today, but talks about yesterday and brings up the games that I've witnessed and experienced and been a part of, and from a baseball, basketball, football perspective, from the world of wrestling, college basketball, A10 tournaments, Final Fours, watching, the Duke Blue Devils just completely destroy all my hopes of a UNLV running Rebels, Jerry Tarkanian led team, to the promised land, right? So I want to talk about all of that, baseball growing up and watching. I very, very, very fond memories of the Oakland A's and the San Francisco Giants series, talking about the earthquake and, Will the Thrill Clark and those Oakland A's teams led, with Dennis Eckersley and, Dave Stewart and Rick Honeycutt and, God, Carney Lance for the third base and Terry Steinbach as the catcher. And, these are obviously the Bash brothers, but this is where I'm wired. Right. I'm 45 years old, but and I don't consider myself old. I consider myself middle-aged. I feel great. And, I love talking about the history of sports and going back and, yeah, we're going to talk about, the common things right now. Like earlier tonight, we talked about the dominance of Joel Embiid, but we also talked about, dominant big men of all time and how they relate to where Joel Embiid is on that, trajectory. We talk about Nick Sirianni, and the Philadelphia Eagles. And we kind of go back and think about, yesterday and, the Carson Wentz year and, how that crumbled apart. And I don't think Jalen Hurts is obviously, I think it's an overreaction to say it's Wentz Watts and all that kind of garbage. I don't think that's right. And then we talk about, WWE, we talk about wrestling, and it's just really, really elevated its game, over the past couple of years. And I think that obviously that's going to be geared towards a Triple H run asylum, with Vince stepping down and Triple H kind of running the show. And, you see a lot of different things. And we're going to get in a lot of those talks and, bring back some, 1980s wrestling talk. I have a lot of contacts on my Rolodex, so to speak, that, I'll reach out to and wrestlers I'd like to have on the program as well. I'm a big independent guy. I like the independent scene. I like TNA. I like NWA. I like, all the indie circuits, man. Like I love having, those kinds of conversations. I just spoke to Tom Lattimore today. He's over in the UK right now, and he has got some big, big things planned. I can't wait to share them with you. And that's just from developing a relationship with Tom and being able to, interview him and Callie and talking about, what it's like to be a professional wrestler on the indie circuit before you make it, to the next level, right? Sleeping in your car. I want to bring all those stories. And as you can see, I like to talk. I love this kind of format. And I was just trying to think of how can I be relaxed and not be judged on screen and just be able to make this a thing where, a lot of people like to join programs, but, they don't like to be videoed, right? So I'm like, okay, how do we do that? How do we do that? So, not just comments, not everybody wants to type, right? Maybe they want to talk. And that was great. We had Divine check in tonight, which was fantastic. He checked in and he saw the wrestling talk. He was like, man, I got to get into some wrestling talk. Probably came in late shift. If you're an overnight shift, if you're a shift worker, if you're a truck driver, the best thing about this is, listen, you have Bluetooth on your car, you can stream it through. It's just like a radio station, man. So instead of doing a whole internet radio thing and giving phone numbers and this and that, I think this is the way I'm going to go. I think this is the way we're going to go. This will be on the Heat Ratio Sports YouTube page, and there'll be more of this going forward. But if you want to do late nights with Tony, testing the limits with Tony, whatever we're going to call this, make sure you subscribe to this channel. You like this page. So that being said, tomorrow night we'll be back around same time. Talking a host of different topics. Obviously we're going to talk about wrestling every night, and it's going to be Thursday night football, and we'll talk about some holiday games and how maybe the NFL is taking over the NBA, and I want to talk about different eras of the NBA too, and get into some talk about these dominant big men and with that trajectory that Joel Embiid's on, and where we look to see him a few years down the road, and and can the 76ers finally bring home a championship to Philadelphia? So we shall see. So as always, I'm going to end this. Everybody have a fantastic evening. I appreciate everybody that joined in tonight. I think it was a fantastic show. We had a tremendous amount of guests. And we had a lot of viewers. We had people join in live, which was fantastic. And that's one of the things that, we're trying to build as a community, to be able to just, I've talked about waste energy, and I don't want to waste energy anymore. So, positivity. I'm not saying it's not okay to be negative or as far as critical, but like we can do it in a way where I'm not trying to be funny just in order to add followers or get clicks or, put stupid things out there just so somebody can like a meme and follow me. And no, man, I want to bring the education back to the world of sports. I want to bring the educational talk back to the world of sports, where everything's just not a joke and everything's not going to be funny, to where we can just have a conversation and bring back those memories. So if you're young, if you're old, if you're middle-aged, this program, I guarantee you, will be for you. So with that, everybody have a great evening. It's 1:15 a.m. Eastern time for me. I get up and do my thing in the morning, and we're back to you next night. So as always, everybody stay safe, stay healthy. I'll catch you back here tomorrow night.